Court fixes May 20th to rule on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's bail or transfer to Kuje Correctional Center. Hear the news in details. Wonderful people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world, you are welcome once again to Biafra Unite channel / television this very moment. Today's date is 17th of April 2024, and I have a breaking information for every one of you listening to my voice right now from where you are all over the world. Dear friends and lovers of freedom, I want you to pay very good attention to this very news because it's very, very important. I can assure you, my people, I don't want to talk too much. I'm going to go straight to the news and reading details. And as you can see, I will be reading from another Zoo media platform known as Sahara Reporters. And according to their own title, they said, Nigeria court fixes May 20th to rule on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's application for transfer from DSS Custody to Kuje Correctional Center, threatens to adjourn trial indefinitely. Justice Bintan Nyako threatened to adjourn case or adjourn trial, so to say, indefinitely. Just like as I said before, they know why they are running. They know why they are running away. They are buying time. But I trust the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile. I trust Mazi Simon Ekpa, and I know what he can do. Because more adjournment to this case will cause the zoo more harm. It will only cause the zoo more harm. The only prayer that I have for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is God to keep him alive, which I am very, very certain God has already blessed him with, long life in order to see Biafra and enjoy the fruit of his labor. So I'm praying for him that God should give him the courage, the maximum courage, 100% that is needed to withstand the tribulation, to withstand the agony, to withstand the inhuman treatment that have been meted upon his life by the zoo government through the DSS. Once he stands it, then ndị Igbo say lapụlụ m ọgụ mụ na-arịkwa ọnwụ ife a na-akpa alịkwa n'onu Igbo. Lapụlụ m ọgụ mụ na-alịkwa suolu m ụtara ede na-asụrụ m ụtara ede. Forget ife mụ na-alịkwa ya aga. Then let me read in details. They said Justice Nyako gave the ruling after listening to arguments on the application. Justice Bintan Nyako of the Federal High Court, sitting in Abuja on Wednesday, fixes May 20 to rule on the application seeking to transfer the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to a correctional center. Kanu had asked the court to send him to Kuje prison. Justice Nyako gave the ruling after listening to the arguments on the application. During the court proceedings on Wednesday, Kanu's counsel, Aloye Jimako, moved the application to prepare him for trial, insisting that his continued detention in the Department of State Services DSS custody would mitigate the accelerated hearing ordered by the court. According to Barrister Jimako, his client's right to a fair trial were being disrespected. He said there was a need for his client to prepare well for the trial, but that it was difficult for Kanu to do that in the DSS facility where he was being kept. In moving the application, Barrister Jimako said, "We seek the transfer of the defendant from the DSS detention to a house arrest or other similar places of custody or similar law enforcement agencies' custody." Of course, you all know the reason why we are fighting very, very hard to make sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is either released to his house or transferred to Kuje prison, because of course he needs to attend to his health. He needs his personal doctor, his preferred doctor, to look after him and take a very good care of him medically, because we all know that since he arrived to the zoo called Nigeria, he has never been in a good state of health. We all know that. And now let me continue. It is important to do so, my lord. The application did not arrive in a vacuum. We made it orally and we are directed to put it into writing. We are offering solutions to assist in accelerating hearings ordered by the court. It is not strange to have a defendant detained in a house arrest. Sambo Dasuki and El Zakzaki have enjoyed this in the past. He also accused the DSS of having hidden cameras in the meeting room where Kanu and his lawyers should prepare for the trial. Earlier, the trial judge threatened to adjourn the trial sine die, accusing the defense of delaying the trial. No, the defense is not delaying the trial, Mrs. Nyako. That is a lie, and you know the truth. What they are saying is for you to transfer Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to Kuje prison or give him bail, as you people have conspired together to continue the so-called trial. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not afraid of trial. He's not running away. But he needs to take care of himself. It is only a living. It is only one who lives can stand trial. A dead cannot stand trial. And of course, you all know what is going to be the consequences if anything untoward happens to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, which we know and pray that it will never happen. Now, let me continue. Nyako said she would commence the trial when the defense was ready. However, the prosecution counsel Adeboroja Awomolo-san urged the court to dismiss the application, saying that the defense had not stated cogent reasons why the application should be allowed. After listening to all the submissions, Justice Nyako adjourned to May 20th to rule on both applications before the court and ordered that the prosecution should commence trial. Before adjourning the case, the judge stood down the matter for 10 minutes to allow the defense lawyers to have a quick meeting with Kanu. A quick meeting with Kanu in the court, inside the courtroom. But they cannot have a good meeting with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in a place where he's been detained. They can't. Because first of all, you cannot enter there with biro. You cannot enter there with a diary. You can't enter there comfortably as a lawyer who's going to have an interaction or discussion with his client. You can't. Everything is being deprived. They will search you, remove your coat, your jacket, or whatever you come with. Remove your shoes, remove everything, and leave you with only singlet and probably knicker or boxers to go and have interaction with your client. Even the way you walk in will not even give your client the confidence. Yes, that's what the DSS is doing. But people do not understand this. They want to demoralize everybody. The way you walk in to the room where you're going to have discussion with your client will even demoralize your client. How can you walk in a room to have a conversation with your client with singlet and boxers? How? That is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is passing through. The only person who did not walk in that room with boxers and singlet is Caro White when he was in charge of the case. I'm telling you, that is to show you the game that was played. Now, my people, I said in the beginning that I do not want to talk too much. Binta Nyako, we know when you were pure. We know when you were very, very strict and straightforward over this very matter. But since you were threatened under Buhari because of your husband and your son, we know when things began to change. We know everything. So I cannot sit here and say that you have been bribed. I cannot say that. But we know when things began to change. So if you know that you can't handle this matter because of the threat of jailing your husband and your son, your husband who was the former governor. So if you know very well that you cannot stand the threat because you don't want them to jail your husband because they have the record of your husband and your son. So if you don't want them to jail your husband or the threat is too much, kindly quit. Kindly hand over the case because you are not the first judge who handled or who have handled this very case. But if you know that you can stand the heat, do the needful. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu cannot in any way be in the DSS dungeon while standing trial. It doesn't happen that way. Things are not done that way. Unless you want to turn justice upside down and dance to the tune of, the offenders, the kidnappers, which is the federal government. That's all I can say. That's all I can tell you, Mrs. Binta Nyako. At the same time, I want to tell our lawyers to stand firm. Stand firm. Make sure that you don't shake. Don't shake, because you all understand what you're doing. Your client, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has never in any way committed any offense known to law. You all know it. We all know it. The whole world is aware. The zoo is only doing what they are doing because, they know that they have the backing of the British. But because they have the backing of British does not mean that they have the backing of the whole world. The whole world is seeing everything. And as far as we, the Biafran people, are concerned, we are not backing down. We will continue to fight and fight and fight until freedom is completely achieved. Whatever it takes. Since you held Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the DSS custody, have you destroyed Biafra liberation? Have you stopped Biafra from coming? Have you stopped Biafra from gaining, a recognition all over the world? In the Committee of Nations, have you stopped it? You can never stop it. You can never, ever stop it. Mazi Samonekpa is doing everything that he can to make sure that we achieve Biafra, and of course, that the legacy of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is fully preserved. Thank you, my people. And make it go viral.